February 9th, 1942, 2:37 p.m. The SS Normandie, the largest, most luxurious ocean liner in the world, sits docked at Pier 88 in Manhattan. The U.S. Navy is converting her into a troop transport. Thousands of soldiers will soon cross the Atlantic in her. Then someone working below deck gets careless with a welding torch near stored life jackets. The fire spreads instantly. Within hours, the Normandie is an inferno. Firefighters pump millions of gallons of water into her. The weight capsizes the ship. She rolls over and sinks in the Hudson River. 1,000 tons of the finest ship ever built, destroyed in New York Harbor, the largest naval disaster on American soil. Naval Intelligence immediately suspects sabotage, German spies, Nazi sympathizers working the docks. The fear is real. German U-boats are hunting Allied ships just miles off the American coast. In the first 6 months of 1942, they'll sink over 350 merchant vessels. If German saboteurs can destroy ships in American harbors, the entire war effort is at risk. The problem: the New York waterfront is controlled by one organization. Not the Navy, not the FBI, not the Coast Guard, the Italian-American Mafia. Every dock worker, every longshoreman, every union official, every pier boss, all connected to or controlled by organized crime. If there are German spies on the docks, the Mafia knows who they are. But the Mafia doesn't talk to law enforcement. Unless you ask the one man every mobster in America respects, the man who organized the 5 families, the man who invented modern organized crime, Lucky Luciano. March 1942. Commander Charles Haffenden of Naval Intelligence B3 faces an impossible problem. The Navy needs intelligence from the waterfront. They need dock workers to report suspicious activity. They need union cooperation. They need access to a criminal network that operates in complete silence. Haffenden's solution is radical: negotiate with the mob. Haffenden makes contact with Meyer Lansky, Jewish mobster, Luciano's best friend since childhood, and the mob's connection to legitimate business. Lansky is intrigued but cautious. "What's in it for us?" Haffenden is direct. "What do you want?" Lansky's answer: "Move Lucky to a better prison, closer to the city, where he can have visitors and run things properly." The Navy agrees. May 1942. Lucky Luciano is transferred from Dannemora, a maximum security hellhole in the mountains, to Great Meadow Correctional Facility, 180 miles closer to New York City. The official reason: administrative transfer. The real reason: Luciano can now receive visitors regularly. Mobsters travel upstate multiple times per week. They meet with Lucky, receive orders, report back to the docks. Within weeks, the waterfront is locked down. Every dock worker is put on notice. Watch for saboteurs. Report suspicious behavior. German sympathizers are identified and quietly removed. Not arrested, just removed. Union cards revoked. Jobs lost. Sometimes people disappear. No more fires. No more suspicious accidents. No more sabotage. The waterfront becomes the safest, most secure port in America. But Luciano and Lansky offer something even more valuable. July 1943. The Allies are planning Operation Husky, the invasion of Sicily. It's the first major Allied invasion of Axis-held Europe. Success is critical. Failure could extend the war for years. The problem: the Allies need intelligence. Maps of beaches, locations of German positions, which roads are mined, which Sicilian towns will resist or cooperate. The U.S. military has almost no intelligence assets in Sicily, but the Mafia does. Lucky Luciano was born in Sicily. His family still lives there. The Sicilian Mafia, the original Mafia, controls every village, every town, every port, and Lucky Luciano controls the Sicilian Mafia. Spring 1943. Naval intelligence officers travel to Great Meadow Prison multiple times. They bring maps, ask questions, take notes. Luciano makes calls, sends messages through visitors, activates his network in Sicily. Within weeks, intelligence floods in. Sicilian contacts provide detailed maps of Sicilian beaches suitable for landing locations of German and Italian defensive positions, which roads are intact and which are destroyed, which towns are controlled by fascists and which by Mafia-friendly locals. Names of Sicilian Mafia bosses who will cooperate with Americans. The most important contact: Don Calogero Vizzini, the most powerful Mafia boss in Sicily. Luciano sends word, help the Americans. Vizzini agrees. July 10th, 1943. Operation Husky begins. 160,000 Allied troops hit the beaches of Sicily. What happens next is remarkable. In several Sicilian towns, when American soldiers arrive, they find yellow flags hanging from buildings. The flags bear a black L for Luciano. Sicilian civilians approach American officers. They provide intelligence, point out German positions, guide soldiers through back roads, help locate minefields. Some Sicilian Mafia members join American patrols as guides and translators. Don Vizzini personally meets with American commanders. He provides detailed intelligence on German defenses, guarantees safe passage through Mafia-controlled territories. Sicily falls in 38 days, faster than Allied planners expected. Casualty rates are lower than predicted. Intelligence proves accurate. Not all of this success was due to Mafia help. Allied forces fought brilliantly. German and Italian defenses were weaker than expected, but the Mafia network undeniably provided critical intelligence and cooperation. And there's a dark consequence. After Sicily is liberated, Allied military administrators need local officials to govern. Who do they appoint? Local leaders recommended by Don Vizzini and other Mafia bosses. In dozens of Sicilian towns, Mafia members are appointed as mayors, police chiefs, and administrators. The Mafia, which Mussolini had violently suppressed during the 1920s, is now back in power, stronger than ever, all thanks to American cooperation. May 1945. Germany surrenders. The war in Europe is over. Lucky Luciano is still in prison. He served 9 years of his 30 to 50-year sentence. His lawyers immediately petitioned Governor Thomas Dewey, the same prosecutor who put Luciano in prison, for clemency. The petition argues Luciano helped the war effort. His cooperation protected the waterfront. His intelligence aided the Sicily invasion. He deserves early release. Naval Intelligence files are classified. Officially, there's no documentation of Luciano's cooperation, but everyone knows. January 3rd, 1946. Governor Dewey commutes Luciano's sentence on the condition that he be deported to Italy immediately and never return to the United States. Luciano agrees. He's escorted directly from prison to a ship bound for Italy. After 24 years in America, where he built the most powerful criminal organization in the world, Lucky Luciano is exiled forever. But exile doesn't end his power. From Italy, Luciano continues running his American operations through Meyer Lansky and other trusted associates. He establishes new smuggling routes, expands heroin trafficking from Europe to America, builds connections with the Corsican Mafia in France, the beginning of the French Connection. In 1951, the U.S. Senate holds hearings investigating organized crime, the Kefauver Committee. Evidence emerges about Operation Underworld, the deal with Luciano. The Navy initially denies everything, then admits cooperation occurred, but claims it was limited and necessary. Critics argue the government legitimized organized crime, strengthened the Mafia, made a deal with the devil that empowered criminals for generations. Supporters argue it was necessary. The waterfront was secured. Sicily was liberated faster. Lives were saved. January 26, 1962. Lucky Luciano dies of a heart attack at Naples Airport. He's 64 years old. He never returned to America, but his legacy did.